Today in our column, there is a story based on real events. The names have been changed, but the feeling of cold on the back will stay with you until the morning. You know, there are moments when one word changes everything. Impotent. She threw it in my face in front of everyone, at the family table, with the smile of a winner. 5 years of marriage, and this is how it all ended. I didn't know then that this word would set off a chain reaction that would destroy not only our marriage, but also her whole world. 9 friends, 9 women from her circle. Revenge is a sweet thing until you reach the point of no return. I'm sitting in the car, my hands let go of the steering wheel. I just left Olga's parents' yard, and her voice still sounds in my head. Impotent. In front of everyone. In front of her mother, father, brother, and wife. Family dinner in honor of her parents' anniversary. Set table, salads, hot dishes. And here she is, my wife, with whom I lived for 5 years, calmly, as if talking about the weather, saying that I am impotent, that she is tired of enduring, that she wants a divorce, because I am not a man. And her mother already choked on the compote. The father stared at the plate. The brother chuckled, but looked away. Olga sat with such a face as if she had just won the lottery. You know this expression? When a person finally said what he had been keeping inside for a long time, and he didn't care about the consequences. I got up from the table, didn't even answer anything. I just took my jacket and walked out, silently, because if I had opened my mouth, I don't know what would have come out. And making a scandal in front of my parents is not my thing. And in general, cursing at a woman, even if she has just publicly humiliated you, is somehow unmanly. Driving through the city at night, our small regional center is empty at this time. The traffic lights are blinking yellow, the lanterns are reflected in the puddles. It rained a couple of hours ago. The phone is vibrating. Olga writes, I don't even want to look. I turn into the parking lot near my office. A small room on the ground floor of a residential building. Assigned Stroimax, my company. Individual entrepreneur, I do repairs, finishing, sometimes small construction work. Things are going well. We don't live richly, but we're not poor either. I go into the office, turn on the light. It smells like paint and wood. The materials warehouse is right there, behind the partition. I plop down in a chair, take out my phone. There are already 5 messages. The first is an apology. The second is that I misunderstood. The third is that she didn't want it in front of everyone, but it turned out that way. The fourth is that it's my fault. The fifth is that I come home. We'll talk. I want to go. Today for sure. I open the bottom drawer of the table, take out a bottle of cognac. I pour it into a mug. There's no glass here. I drink. It's bitter, it burns, but that's what I need now, to take my mind off things. Impotent. I, who a year ago did not let her sleep at night. I, who came from work and dragged her into the bedroom, did not waiting for dinner. What's the year like? Just a year and a half ago, everything was fine. And then, I'm trying to remember when everything changed. Olga became different, cold, irritable. I came home, hugged her. She pulled away. I said compliments. She shrugged. I invited her to the cinema, to a cafe. She always had things to do. Gradually, I stopped trying. Why impose yourself if they push you away? The bedroom turned into a battlefield. I lay down on my side of the bed, she on hers. Between us, there was a gap a meter wide. When I tried to move closer, she said that it was hot, or that her head hurt, or simply turned her back. Maybe 3 months ago, I completely gave up, stopped even trying. If she doesn't want it, then she doesn't want it. I'm not one of those who will humiliate myself and beg for the attention of my own wife. I focused on work. There are a lot of orders. 2 teams are working. I often go to sites myself. I began to stay late. To be honest, I didn't want to return home. It's cold there, not in the sense of heating, but in the sense of the atmosphere. And here is the result. She decided that I was impotent because I don't pester her anymore. Feminine logic. You can't say anything. I drink more. Cognac doesn't burn so much anymore. Or I'm just drunker. The clock shows without 15:12. The phone is silent. Olga, apparently, has also given up. I'm thinking about what is next. Divorce. But okay, the apartment is registered in my name. Bought before marriage with money that I had been saving since I was 18. The car is also mine. There is almost no property acquired together. We lived modestly, rarely went on vacation, invested the money in business. She works as a manager in a furniture showroom. The salary is small, but stable. I can handle it. But can I handle it? Honestly, I don't know. 5 years together. I thought it was her always. I planned children, a house outside the city. Everything was as it should be. But it turned out impotent and a divorce. I get up, go out into the street. I look at the empty street. Rare cars pass. Dogs bark in the distance. Quiet. Calm. And inside me there is a hurricane. Impotent. This word stuck like a thorn, like an insult that you can't just pull out. And the longer I think about him, the more angry I get. Not even at Olga, at the situation, at the fact that everything turned out this way, or at myself. Maybe I'm really to blame. Maybe I should have not given up and fought for the relationship, to talk, to find out what happened. But damn, I tried. In the first months I tried. She remained silent. I asked questions. She answered that everything was fine. I suggested going to a psychologist. She laughed, said that it was for weaklings. And now, impotent. I return to the table. Pour more. I no longer count how much. My head begins to swim, but my thoughts do not stop. I scroll through memory last year. How she changed. She began to spend more time with her friends. And she went out somewhere in the evenings. Either a bachelorette party, or shopping, or something else. I didn't mind. Let her have fun if it's easier for her. Her friends. I know them all. Victoria is a tall blonde, married to some IT specialist, works in a bank. Anna is Olga's colleague at a furniture salon. Cheerful, overweight, with 2 children. Svetlana is from a business environment, owns a clothing store, is always straightforward, and wears heels. Irina is Olga's best friend since school. She is a housewife. Her husband is a local deputy. There are several others with whom Olga communicates less often, but they are also close. They are all aware of our situation, probably. Olga loves to chat. That means they know that I am impotent. They laugh at me behind her back. They feel sorry for her. They say that she is unlucky with her husband. And then an idea hits me. It's probably stupid, but in my condition it seems brilliant. If Olga considers me impotent, I will prove the opposite. But not to her. It's too late for her to prove anything. But to her friends. Drunken thoughts are a dangerous thing. They seem clear, logical, correct. But in the morning, sobering up usually comes. I know this. But now, sitting in a dark office with a bottle of cognac, I convince myself that this is a plan. Revenge may be proof. Justice is unlikely. But I don't care. Impotent, you say? Let's see. I fall asleep right in the chair, hugging an empty mug. The sleep is heavy, without dreams. And in the morning, waking up with a headache and a firm decision, I understand. I will do it. The morning greets me with pain in the neck. Sleeping in a chair, it turns out, is not the best idea. Washing in the tiny office restroom with cold water, I look in the mirror. My face is bruised. My eyes are red. 2-day stubble. Handsome, you can't say anything. I'm checking the phone. Olga called 7 times at night. In the morning, she sent a message that if I don't come back today, she will pack my things and throw me out the door. I grin. The apartment is mine, dear. I don't want to tie us up. I'm writing briefly that I'm staying with a friend. I'll be back in a couple of days. Of course, there is no friend, but let him think he wants. I call the foreman, check on the objects. Everything is going fine. There are no problems. I say that I want to go out today. Let them handle it themselves. He objects. I usually hang out at the sites every day, but doesn't he ask? I go to the nearest store, buy a coffee in a glass and a bun with poppy seeds. Breakfast of champions. I return to the office, sit, drink coffee, think. Planned out yesterday's doesn't seem so brilliant anymore. Sleeping with your wife's friends? Seriously. This is low, petty, unmanly, to be honest. I have always considered myself a decent person. Not a saint, of course, but not a scumbag either. But then I remember how Olga said this word, impotent. With what intonation, with what pleasure. The anger returns. Okay, maybe it's petty, but she was the first to start. The question is, how to even pull this off? I'm not a womanizer, not an alpha male who walks left and right. An ordinary guy? I was married, faithful to my wife. Didn't he even look in the direction of other women? Now we're getting a divorce, and we need to do something. What? Seducing her friends sounds like nonsense. But I decide to try, at least one first. I'll prove to myself that I can. And then we'll see. Victoria is the first on the list. Why her? Because she is married, but unhappily. It can be seen with the naked eye. Her husband, this IT guy, is always on the computer. I saw them together a couple of times. She says, he nods, without looking up from the phone. Classic. Plus I have her number. Olga once gave it to me when Victoria helped with choosing furniture for our kitchen. We corresponded then, discussed colors, materials. I'm typing a message. I erase. I type again. I erase again. I suffer for about 20 minutes until I simply write. Hi, Vika. Would you like to have coffee today? I want to get some advice about a situation. I send it. My heart is pounding, as if I'm a schoolboy confessing my first love. The answer comes 10 minutes later. She writes, Hello, Max. Of course, let us go. It's convenient in the center. I know a good place next to my bank. Agreed. I have 4 hours to come to my senses, look decent, and figure out what to say at all. I'm going home. Olga is not there, at work. I take a shower, shave, put on a clean shirt and jeans. I look in the mirror. It's better. Not handsome, but not scary either. At 12:30 I leave. The coffee shop that Victoria chose, in the city center, is fashionable, with panoramic windows and wooden furniture. Not my thing usually. I prefer simpler ones, but okay. I go in. She is already sitting at a table by the window. She saw me, waved her hand. I come up and say hello. Victoria looks good. Business suit, white blouse, hair in a ponytail. The makeup is not bright, but her face is fresh. She always takes care of herself. Olga was often jealous. She said that Vika knows how to present herself. We sit down. We order coffee. Remain silent for a couple of seconds. It's somehow awkward. I start, saying that Olga and I have problems, that she wants a divorce. Nobody go into detail. I don't talk about the impotent man. This is too much. I'm just saying that the relationship has gone wrong. We don't understand each other. We live like strangers. Victoria listens, nods, then asks, Do you want a divorce? I honestly answer, I don't know. I didn't want one a year ago. Now I'm not sure. She sighs, says that she understands. She herself has a similar situation. My husband works 12 hours a day, even on weekends. He comes home, falls on the sofa, plugs into the laptop. She tried to talk. It's useless. He thinks that since he brings money, then everything is fine. He ask for more details while my husband explains it. But through the words you can feel that she is no less lonely than me last year. We chat for another 40 minutes. About work, about life, about how everything changes over the years. Easy to talk. Victoria turns out to be not the same as I remember her from rare meetings. She is smart, with a sense of humor, a little sad. When it's time to leave, she says, Thank you, Max, I really enjoyed it. I haven't talked like that for a long time. I answer, Me too. Maybe we'll do it again sometime. She smiles. Let us go. We exchange a couple more messages this evening. Nothing special. How the day went. What else for dinner. But something else is read between the lines. Interest. Attention. 3 days later, I invite her to a restaurant. Not a cafe, but a normal restaurant, with white tablecloths and a menu in French. I choose a place outside the city so as not to bump into friends. She agrees, doesn't even ask why, just says, with pleasure. We meet on Saturday evening. Olga is at her parents' house at this time. Now she is there often after that incident. She says that I need to think about our relationship. I don't mind. I chose the right restaurant. Quiet, cozy, not many people. Victoria came in a black, short dress with open shoulders. I was even taken aback when I saw. At work she is always strict, but here, we have dinner. We order wine. We talk about everything, about childhood, about dreams, about plans. She says that she wanted to become an artist, but her parents insisted on economics. I say that I dreamed of a big construction company, but it turned out to be a small company. We laugh, we drink. Around 10 in the evening, I understand that there is something between us. Not just friendly sympathy, attraction. She feels it too. I see it in her eyes, by the way she leans closer when she speaks. We leave the restaurant, stand by my car, remain silent, look at each other. And then she asks, "Do you have somewhere to take me?" My heart goes down. I understand what she means. And I understand that now is the point of no return. I say yes. I wake up, look at Victoria next to me. She is sleeping. Her hair is disheveled. Her face is calm, beautiful. And then the realization hits me. I just slept with my wife as friend. Cheated on. Betrayed. To whom? Olga. But we're getting a divorce. She said it herself. Victoria wakes up, smiles at me, says, "Good morning." I answer good. She doesn't regret it. You can see it in her eyes. And I don't regret it either, to be honest. We get dressed, have breakfast in the hotel restaurant, talk a little, then I take her to the city, drop her off near her house. She kisses me on the cheek goodbye, whispers, "Thank you." Bedroom with the door closed. I'm in the living room in front of TV, which I don't watch. I text Victoria every day. Nothing special. How are you? What's new? Sometimes jokes. But we both know that we'll repeat it. It's inevitable. And then a message comes from Anna, Olga's colleagues from a furniture store. A plump, cheerful woman with 2 children. Her husband works as a truck driver. He's at home once a month. Anna writes, "Hello, Max. I heard that you and Alia are having problems. I want to talk, can I?" I wonder, how does she know? Did Olga tell you? Or did Victoria say something? I answer, "Hello, Anna. Let us do it when it's convenient." She offers to meet this evening after work at the same restaurant outside the city where I took Victoria. An interesting coincidence, I think, but I agree. I arrive at 7. Anna is already waiting at the entrance. She doesn't look like she usually does at work. Not in a business suit, but in jeans and a sweater. But it's clear that she tried. Brighter makeup, hair curled. We go inside, sit down at a table. We order. She immediately starts talking. She says that Victoria hinted to her. They say, Maxim is a good person. It's a pity that things don't work out with Olga. Anna understood between the lines. Victoria is not stupid. She specifically suggested it. I ask, "Why are you here, Anna?" She sighs and says, "My husband is home once a month. The children have grown up on their own. I'm alone. Olga at work complains about you. She says that you're cold, that you don't pay attention to her. And Vika says the opposite." I'm silent. I don't know what to say. She continues, "I'm not looking for a relationship, Max. I just want to feel like a woman. For once. Do you understand?" I understand. I understand too well. We finish dinner, talk about all sorts of nonsense, about her children, about work, about the weather, but we both know how it will end. I rent a room in the same hotel. We get up, and everything that happened with Victoria is repeated. Only Anna is different, more open, more grateful. She cries then. He says, "Thank you for giving me this." I feel strange. On the one hand, I proved again that I am not impotent. On the other, I am using these women. Or are they me? It's not clear. In the morning, I'm taking Anna home. She asks to be dropped off a block from the house. She doesn't want the neighbors to see. Kisses her on the cheek goodbye, says, "Call if you want to talk." Networking. I usually don't go to this kind of thing, but I decided I need a distraction at the same time I can find clients. A hall in a hotel, about 100 people. Speeches, presentations, a coffee break. I'm standing with a cup of tea, looking at the phone. Correspondence with the foreman about a new facility. And then she comes up. Svetlana, the owner of a clothing store, Olga's acquaintance from some business training. Tall, slender, always straightforward and in heels. Today in a business dress, hairstyled, she greets, asks how you are. She says that she heard about Olga and I's situation, sympathizes. I answer briefly, it happens, we'll survive. Svetlana looks at me appraisingly, then says, you know, I always thought that Olga doesn't appreciate you. You're a good man, Max. I'm surprised by this compliment. Thank you. She continues, I, too, recently had a divorce. My husband left for a young woman. I understand how you feel now. We talk for another 10 minutes. Then she gives her a business card and says, call if you want to discuss some finishing issues, or just talk. I take the business card. I understand that this is not just a business proposal. I call her in 2 days. I invite her to a restaurant. She agrees immediately. We meet on Friday. Svetlana comes in the same black dress as Victoria did then. Or is it that all women have the same pattern for dating? We have dinner, drink wine, chat. Svetlana talks about her business, her ex-husband, her plans. I listen, nod, insert something of my own. At the end of the evening, she asks directly, will you take me home or with me to the room? I choose the second. The third, Olga's 3 friends. And this is just the beginning. I return home in the morning. Olga has already woken up, is getting ready for work. Looks at me, asks, where have you been? I say, I met with a client. It took a long time. She snorts. Yes, of course. Do you think I'm a fool? I don't answer. I go to the shower. I hear her slam the door as she leaves. I stand under the hot water, thinking, what am I doing? 3 women in 3 weeks. This is no longer revenge. It's some kind of addiction, but I can't stop. Because every time I return home and see Olga's cold face, I remember that word, impotent. And I want to prove it again and again. Life has turned into a double game. During the day I work, visit sites, meet with customers, solve problems with materials and crews. In the evening I correspond with one of my people, Victoria, Anna, or Svetlana. Sometimes we meet, sometimes we just chat. Victoria becomes intrusive. She writes every day, calls, wants to see each other more often. I understand that for her this has become more than just a connection. She falls in love, but I don't need it. I start to answer less often. I use work as an excuse. She gets offended, writes long messages that I'm using her. I don't deny. I say that we are both adults. Both knew what they were getting into. She falls silent for a few days. Then she writes, okay, Max, I understand. But if you need to talk again, I'm here. Anna is simpler. She doesn't demand anything. Sometimes she writes, how are you? I answer. Sometimes we meet just to have dinner and talk, without a bed. She needs company, not a lover. I understood this. Svetlana is businesslike. She offers cooperation. I have a store, you have a construction site. We can somehow interact. I don't mind. We sign a small contract. I make repairs in her retail space at cost. She advertises my company among friends. It's beneficial for both. And Olga is the one time to file for divorce. She comes one evening, throws the papers on the table, says, sign. I see a standard lawsuit. She does not claim the division of property for an apartment and a car. This is a plus. She only wants her things and furniture, which she chose herself. I don't care. I agree. But the strange thing is that after submitting the documents, Olga changes, becomes softer, starts to cook dinner. She hasn't cooked for months before. Asks how things are at work, tries to talk to me. I'm in a stupor. What happened? A month ago, she called me impotent and demanded a divorce. Now suddenly a caring wife. One evening, she sits down next to me on the sofa and says, Max, maybe we shouldn't get a divorce. Let's try again. I look at her. I see sincerity in her eyes. I see fear. I see regret. And I know that I feel nothing. Emptiness. A year ago, I would have agreed right away. 6 months ago, I would have thought. Now I don't care. I say, it's too late, OL. You wanted this yourself. She begins to cry, saying that she was a fool, that she ruined everything, that she regretted those words right away that after dinner at my parents'. But my pride did not allow me to confess. I listen, nod, but everything is dead inside. She hugs me, kisses, tries to drag me into the bedroom. I stop her. I say, not now. I need time to think. Lies. I don't need time. I have already decided. But I say so that she will leave me alone. She moves away, says, okay, I'll wait. And then a message comes with unknown number. I open it. The text is short. Hello, Max. I'm Marina, Vika's sister. She told me about you. I want to meet you. Damn, Victoria told her sister. Of course she did. Women love to share. Olga sees my face and asks, what happened? I say, no, the client just wrote. She goes into the bedroom. I sit, look at the phone. The fourth friend contacted me herself. I didn't even have to look. I answer Marina. Hello, let us meet when it's convenient. She writes, tomorrow evening I'm coming to the center. I work there as an administrator at a fitness club. We agreed. The next day I'm going to the center after work. The fitness club is on the second floor of the shopping mall. Center. I walk in and go to the reception desk. Marina is 5 years younger than Victoria. Dark-haired, athletic, in a tight-fitting club uniform. Smiles when she sees me. Says, hello, I'll be free in an hour. Can you wait? I'm waiting in a cafe on the ground floor. I'm drinking coffee, leafing through the news. I'm thinking about what I got myself into. Marina comes in an hour. She changed into jeans and a t-shirt. She sits down opposite, orders juice. She immediately says, Vika said that you are a good lover. I haven't been with a man for a long time. My husband died 3 years ago. I've been alone since then. Direct and without beating around the bush. I don't even have anything to answer. She continues, now that kind of relationship. Just sex. Suitable. I nod. Suitable. We meet that same evening. I rent a room. Marina turns out to be passionate and demanding. Then she says, thank you, I needed it. I answer, me too. Fourth, I'm driving home. My head is spinning. Olga's 4 friends are involved. This is madness. This is a disaster. This is revenge that has gotten out of control. But I can't stop, because every time another woman looks at me with gratitude, with desire, with admiration, I feel like a man. Not impotent, a man. And Olga is waiting for me at home, who now portrays a loving wife, who is trying to return what she destroyed. Too late, dear. Too late. Life turns into chaos. Work, home, women, everything is mixed into one mess. I lose track of the days, meetings, conversations. Victoria calls, cries, says that her husband suspected something, found messages on the phone. I reassure her, saying that she needs to be more careful. She agrees, but then writes again, when do we see each other? Anna sends photos of her children, tells how they are doing at school. I answer politely, but I'm not interested. She doesn't understand hints, continues to share her life. Svetlana is businesslike. She writes about repairs in the store, about deadlines, about materials. But in between times she asks, shall we meet this week? Marina is demanding. She writes directly, I want you. Will you be free today? I juggle names on the phone. I meet with one or the other, sometimes in one day with 2. It's exhausting, but at the same time exciting. Some kind of excitement has appeared. And at work, problems begin. A large customer, a shopping center, for which they were finishing 3 floors, is delaying payment. 2 months have passed since the completion of the project, but there is no money. At the secretariat, he waves it off, like, soon, wait. But my teams are demanding wages. Material suppliers are calling, reminding us about debts. The bank sends a notice for a loan for equipment. The financial hole is growing. I have to dip into my own savings. I spend the money that I saved for business expansion, for new premises, for equipment on restaurants, hotels, gifts for women. Yes, I also started giving gifts, bouquets, jewelry, perfume, so that they are happy, so that they don't turn away. It's crazy how it is. Olga is behaving more and more strangely at home. Either she is sweet and caring, cooks my favorite dishes, asks about my business. Then suddenly she is cold, angry, throws dishes, shouts that I am ignoring her. The mood changes every day. I don't understand what is happening. One morning I go into the bathroom. I see a pregnancy test on the shelf. Empty and used. I freeze. What is this? Has she been checked? But we Haven T slept together for months. I go out and ask, "OL, what is this?" She looks, blushes, says, "Nothing. I just bought it just in case." There was a delay, but it turned out to be a false alarm. I don't believe it, but I don't want to argue. I'm leaving for work. That same day, I'm sitting in the office. A message comes from an unfamiliar number. I open it. "Hello, Max. I'm Elena. Do you remember me? Olga and I went to school together. We met at graduation 5 years ago." I remember Elena. Tall blonde, athletic. Then she was with some guy. I write, "I remember. Hello, how are you?" She replies, "Yesterday I met you at the gym. You didn't notice. I was wearing headphones on the treadmill. I want to talk." Haven't seen each other for a long time. The gym. Yes, yesterday I was there, really. I'm trying to keep in shape, at least control something in this life. We agreed to meet in the evening there after training. I arrive at the gym at 7. I've been training for an hour. Elena appears at 8. Waving, goes to the treadmill side by side. We run in parallel, talking to each other. She says that she got divorced a year ago, is now alone, works at an insurance company, lives in a neighboring area. She asks about me. I say briefly, "We're also divorcing Olga." She shakes her head. "It's a pity. You seemed like an ideal couple." I grin. It happens. After training, I suggest drinking juice at the gym bar. Agrees. We sit and chat about life, work, plans. Elena is direct, open. She says that she misses male company, that all the men she knows are either married or strange. I understand what she is getting at, and I don't mind. I walk her to the car. She asks, "Maybe we can go for a ride?" I'm driving through the city at night. Elena is next to me. We talk about music, films, all sorts of nonsense. Then we stop in the parking lot, get out, walk. She takes me by the arm. This is unusual for me. Other women didn't do this, too publicly. I say, "Be careful, in case someone sees." She laughs. "So what? We are free people." We walk for another half hour. Then she says, "Take me home." I'm driving. She lives in a new building on the outskirts, invites us to come for tea. We go in. Of course, we don't drink tea. Elena kisses me right in the hallway. I answer, "Everything is logical. Everything is predictable." Fifth, in the morning I leave early while she is sleeping. I leave a note. "Thank you in the evening. We'll call you." I'm on my way to the office. The foreman from the site calls and says that the team refuses to work without advance payment. I haven't paid them for 3 weeks. There is no money. I promised to solve it today. I'm calling the director of the shopping center, who owes me a large sum. He waves it off again. "Next week, Max, be patient." I can't stand it anymore. I take out a loan. I take out a small amount from the bank as collateral for the apartment. It's a risk, of course, but there is no way out. I pay the crew, the suppliers. I have at least enough to live on. And the women continue to write. Everyone wants attention, meetings, gifts. I nod, agree, meet. I no longer understand why. Revenge, proof, or just a habit? Olga is completely strange at home. One evening I come. She is sitting in the kitchen, crying. I ask, "What happened?" She says, "Nothing, just a bad mood." I sit next to her, hug her. She cuddles, sobs into my shoulder. I stroke her hair, calm her down. Then she raises her head, looks into her eyes, says, "Max, I love you. I always have. Forgive me for everything." I am silent. I don't know what to answer. Part of me wants to forgive, hug, return everything as it was. The other part remembers the word impotent and all the humiliation. I say, I loved you too, OL. But now I don't know what I feel. She nods, moves away, goes into the bedroom. I'm sitting in the kitchen alone, thinking about how confused everything is. 5 women, a wife who wants to come back, a business on the verge of collapse, debts, lies. What have I done? The phone vibrates, a message from Victoria. I open it. Max, I need to talk to you. It's urgent. We'll meet tomorrow. I write, okay, tomorrow evening. The next day, we meet in a cafe. Victoria looks alarmed, sits down, and immediately says, I think I want to divorce my husband. Because of you. I freeze. This is bad. Very bad. I say, Vika, we discussed that this is just a connection without obligations. She shakes her head. For you, maybe just. For me, no. I fell in love, Max. Damn. I'm trying to explain. I'm not ready for a relationship, Vika. I myself am a mess in my life. Divorce, debts, problems at work. She interrupts. Then why did you sleep with me? Why did you give hope? I don't know what to answer. Because revenge. Because I wanted to prove that I'm not impotent. It's true, but I can't tell her this. I say, I'm sorry, Vika. I didn't want to offend you. She gets up and throws. You're selfish, Max. You use people and throw them away. She leaves. I'm sitting alone, looking after her. She's right. I'm selfish. I use them all. For my own revenge, for my self-affirmation. But I can't stop. Because there are still 4 women ahead, and I will reach the end. Even if it destroys me myself. I come home late in the evening. Olga is not there, probably again with her parents or friends. I go to the bathroom, wash my face, look in the mirror. Tired face, circles under the eyes. A month of such life is exhausting. I return to the living room, plop down on sofa. I take out my phone, scroll through the messages. Victoria no longer writes. After that conversation in the cafe, she became quiet. Good. One less problem. Marina sent a photo from the gym in a tight uniform with the caption, I miss you. I grin and answer briefly. See you this week. Elena asks how things are at work. I write that everything is fine, although this is a lie. Svetlana reminds me of the meeting to renovate the store. We make an appointment for tomorrow. Anna shares a photo from her youngest son's birthday. I like it. Write a congratulation. 5 women on the phone, 5 secrets, 5 time bombs. And then I hear the door open. Olga comes in. She looks excited. She walks straight towards me, sits down next to me. She says, Max, we need to talk. I put the phone down, accidentally with the screen down so that she doesn't see the messages. I listen. Olga starts from afar. About what she thought about us, about marriage, about what went wrong, about how she remembered the first years, how good it was, that she wants it back. I am silent. I listen. Then she takes a bag out of her bag and hands it to me. I open it. There's a book inside. Some kind of psychological literature about relationships, about crises in marriage. She says, I've been reading this for the last 2 weeks. I understood a lot about myself, about us. I want you to read it too. I nod. Okay, I'll read it. She hugs me, kisses me on the cheek, whispers, I'll improve, I promise. I feel uneasy. She really wants to save the marriage. Meanwhile, I sleep with 5 of her friends. I pull away, say that I'm tired, I'll go to bed. She nods, lets me go. I lie down on the sofa in the living room, look at the ceiling. I think that I'm a rare bastard. My wife is trying to improve the relationship, and I continue to take revenge. But I can't stop, because there are 4 more friends ahead, and I'll get there to the end. In the morning, I wake up to a call. The foreman from the site. He says that materials are needed urgently, and the supplier requires an advance payment. I promise to solve it before lunch. I call the bank, find out how much more I can borrow. Not much, but enough for the materials. I fill out an application, wait for approval. An hour later, an SMS comes, approved. I transfer the money to the supplier. The financial hole deepens, but there is no choice. In the evening, I go to Svetlana to the store. We look at what the team has done, discuss the details. She is pleased with the result, praises the work. Then she offers to drink coffee in her office on the second floor. We go up. She makes coffee. We sit on the sofa. We talk about business, about plans to expand her business. Svetlana is smart, businesslike, knows what she wants. Then she suddenly asks, "What about Olga?" I shrug still. The divorce is in progress. She nods. After a pause, she continues, "You know, Max, I've been wanting to say for a long time. I like you, not only as a lover, but also as a person." I freeze. Only this was not enough. Another one falls in love. I say carefully, "Sveta, we agreed that this was without obligation. No, there's nothing between us, but if you want, I'll be glad for something more." I nod. "Thank you. I'll think about it." We finish the coffee, go downstairs. We say goodbye. I'm going home with a heavy feeling. Now two women already want a relationship, Victoria and Svetlana. This complicates everything. At home, Olga is preparing dinner. She sets the table, calls me. We sit down, eat. She talks about work, about colleagues, about some funny incidents in the salon. I listen, nod, insert something of my own. Almost like before. Almost normal. After dinner, she washes the dishes. I help wipe. Home idle. Then she goes into the bedroom. After a minute, she calls, "Max, come here." I go in. She is sitting on the bed. There is some kind of box next to her. She says, "I found this when I was cleaning in your car today in the glove compartment." I open the box. Inside is a woman's hairpin. Not Algina's. Someone else says, "Damn, I forgot. One of the women could have left it in the car." Olga looks at me, waiting for an explanation. I quickly realize this is Anna's. She went with me to a meeting with the supplier a month ago. She helped me choose furniture for your salon, remember? It's a smooth lie, but Olga shakes her head. "I don't remember Anna going with you." I shrug, but I did. Ask her if you don't believe me. She is silent, then says, "Max, are you cheating on me?" Direct question. I look into her eyes and answer firmly, "No, technically true. We are getting a divorce. This is not cheating. These are just connections with free women." Olga sighs. "Okay, I believe." But I see in her eyes, she doesn't believe, she suspects. I go to bed with a heavy feeling. Olga begins to guess. I have to be more careful. The next day at a business event, I meet closer to Irina, Olga's best friend since school. Housewife. Husband is a local deputy. She always seemed inaccessible, arrogant. But at the meeting, she comes up herself, says hello, asks how things are. She says that she heard about Olga S. and my problems, sympathizes. I am surprised at such openness. Thank you. She continues, "You know, Max, Olga has not been the same lately. We are not the same lately. We've been friends for 20 years. I know her like myself. Something is wrong with her." I ask, "What do you mean?" Irina shakes her head. "I don't know for sure, but she has become nervous, whiny." She laughs and cries. "Maybe there are health problems?" I shrug. "I don't know. She doesn't share it with me." Irina looks at me appraisingly, then says, "Let us have coffee sometime? I want to talk about her. Maybe we can figure out something together. How to help." I agree. Come on, why not? We exchange numbers, agree on the end of the week. The sixth friend made contact herself, under a plausible pretext, to help Olga, but I see in her eyes the same thing that I saw in the others. Interest, curiosity, desire. Irina is married to a deputy. Rich, wealthy, but lonely. The husband is constantly at work, on business trips, at meetings. She sits at home, does charity work, is bored. The ideal candidate. We meet on Friday evening. The cafe is in the center, quiet, calm. Irina comes in an expensive dress, with hair done. Makeup, she looks gorgeous. We sit down, order, talk about Olga. Irina says that she noticed changes about 3 months ago, that Olga has become withdrawn, irritable, complaining about fatigue, headaches. I listen, nod. Then I say, maybe she needs to see a doctor? Irina agrees. We should, but she refuses, says that everything is fine. We move on to other topics, about life, about the city, about plans. I see her off. Her car, an expensive foreign car, is parked 2 blocks away. We walk in silence. Then she suddenly stops, turns to me, says, Max, I lied. I didn't invite you because of Olga. I look at her, waiting for the continuation. She sighs. I'm alone, Max. My husband lives his own life. I need attention, communication, warmth. I understand where this is going. Goes, and I don't mind. I ask, where is your husband now? He answers, on a business trip. We'll return in 3 days. I suggest, maybe to my place? She agrees with a nod. I take her to the office. There is a small lounge with a sofa. Sometimes I spend the night there when it's late. We get up. Irina looks around, smiles, romantic. I grin. Sorry, that's all there is. She hugs me, kisses. I don't need romance. I need you. 6th. In the morning she leaves by taxi. Her car is left in Kinter. I promised to give her a ride and pick her up later. I'm sitting in the office, drinking coffee, thinking. 6 of Olga's friends. More than half. 3 left. And then I understand. I've gone too far. Irina is Olga's best friend. This is no longer revenge. This is betrayal on a new level. But I can't stop. Because the passion, because the proof, because I don't know why. I just can't. Victoria calls unexpectedly. For the first time in a row. 2 weeks. An excited voice says, Max, I need to meet with you. Urgently. I ask what happened. He answers, not on the phone. We'll meet this evening. I agree, although I feel that this will not bring anything good. We meet in the same cafe where we were the first time. Victoria looks tired. Her eyes are red. She sits down and immediately says, I filed for divorce. I freeze. Because of me? She shakes her head. Not only because of you. Husband, you life. I realize that I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't know what to say. I'm silent. She continues, but I want you to know, I don't regret what happened between us. You showed me that I'm still alive, that I can feel. Thank you. Thank you, Vika. She smiles sadly. You're welcome. Just be happy, Max. We finish our coffee, say goodbye. Victoria leaves. I sit for another 10 minutes, looking out the window. 1 life is ruined. 8 more are on the way. What have I done? The financial situation is becoming critical. The shopping center still hasn't paid. 3 months have passed. I call the director every day. He promises, delays, lies. I have to take out another loan. But this is the 3rd one in 2 months. The bank gives with difficulty. The credit history is deteriorating. I pay the teams, suppliers, the bank for previous loans. There is a minimum left. But restaurants, hotels, gifts for women also cost money. I count one evening. For 2 months for women spent more than 300,000. Insane amount. I could buy new equipment or rent space for storage. But instead I spend it on revenge. I meet Natalia at a business forum. A colleague in the business community owns a small interior design company. About 35, divorced, without children. We sit at the same table at a conference. We chat during breaks. We exchange business cards, agree on cooperation. I do renovations, she gives clients for design. After the conference, I suggest having a drink at the hotel bar. She agrees. We sit, drink wine, talk about business. Natalia is smart, businesslike, with clear plans for business development. I like her. She asks about her personal life. I say briefly, I'm getting a divorce. I almost live alone. She nods. I understand. I had the same thing 3 years ago. We finish our drink, say goodbye, exchange numbers. The next day she writes, Max, do you want to go to the design exhibition on Saturday? It will be interesting for both. Do you regret it? She shakes her head. No. Life is too short to waste it on those who don't appreciate it. Wise words. We sit until the evening. Then she looks at her watch and says, "It's already late. Will you take me out? I'll walk you to the car." She turns, looks at me, says, "Maybe you'll come to my place for the night?" I agree. Her apartment is in a new area, large, stylish. She turns on the music, pours wine instead of tea. We sit on the sofa, drink, chat. Then she kisses me. I answer. 7th. In the morning I leave early. Natalia is sleeping. I leave a note. "Thank you for the evening. I'm going home." Olga is gone again. It's become a habit. I take a shower, get dressed. I'm going to the site. The phone rings, an unfamiliar number. I pick up the phone. "Hello?" A female voice. "Maxim?" I answer. "Yes, I'm listening." She says, "This is Private Detective Ekaterina. I need to meet with you." I freeze. "Detective, for what?" I ask on what issue. She replies, "On the question of your wife, Olga. Shall we meet today at 2 o'clock in the Central Cafe?" I agree. I hang up. I sit, digest the information. Olga hired a detective. Follow me. Damn. At 2 o'clock, I'm sitting in a cafe waiting. A woman of about 40, in a formal suit, appears, a folder in her hands. She comes up and introduces herself. Ekaterina, detective. She sits down, straight to the point. "Your wife hired me a month ago. She asked for it. Follow you. Collect information about possible connections on the side." I'm silent, waiting for the continuation. She takes photos from the folder, lays them out on the table. I'm with Victoria at the restaurant. I'm with Anna near the hotel. I'm with Elena in the gym. I'm with Marina in the shopping center. I'm with Irina at my office. I'm with Natalia at the exhibition. All 6 women. The 7th, if you count Svetlana, there's a photo of her too. Ekaterina says, "I have collected enough material. I will give it to the client in a week. But I decided to warn you in advance. I think that you have the right to know." I ask, "Why are you doing this?" She shrugs. "Professional ethics. I warned both parties before transmitting information." "Thank you. Thank you." She collects the photo, leaves. I'm sitting alone, looking into an empty cup of coffee. Olga knows. Not everything yet. But in a week she will find out. We need to do something. But what? I'm going home. Olga is sitting in the kitchen, drinking tea. She looks at me and asks, "How are you?" I answer, "Fine." She nods. "Sit down, let us talk." I sit down, wait. She begins, "Max, I want to confess. I hired a detective. I'm keeping an eye on you." I make a surprised face. "Why?" She sighs, "Because I don't trust. After that hairpin in the car, I want to know the truth." I am silent. She continues, "The detective will hand over the report in a week. If there is something there, I will find out. And then the divorce will be final." I nod. I understand. She gets up, goes into the bedroom. I remain sitting. A week. I have a week to go. And then I understand. I don't care. Let her know. Let her see that I'm not impotent. That her friends slept with me. That revenge was a success. I even want her to find out. But there are still 2 friends left. And I'll finish what I started. The next day, I meet my neighbor Ksenia at the entrance. She lives on the floor above. She was always nice. She said hello, smiled, sometimes treated her to pies. About 30, married, husband is a sailor, on flights for 6 months. We say hello, chat about the weather, about the news in the house. Then she asks, "Max, do you understand repairs? My kitchen faucet is leaking. My husband is on a flight. I don't know who to contact." I suggest, "Let us take a look. Maybe I can fix it." We go up to it. I look at the faucet. The gasket is worn out. I need to change it. I say that I'm going to run to the store, buy a new one. I run to the hardware store, buy a gasket, come back. I change it in 15 minutes. Ksenia thanks, offers tea. I agree. We sit in the kitchen, drink tea, chat. She tells me how hard it is to be alone, how she misses her husband. I nod, I understand. Then she suddenly puts her hand on mine, says, "Thank you for helping, Max. You are a good person." I look at her. I see loneliness in her eyes. I understand what she wants. I ask, "When will my husband return?" She answers, "In a month." I lean over and kiss her. She answers, "8." 2 days later, at a family holiday with Olga's distant relatives, I meet Daria. Olga's cousin lives in a neighboring town, came to visit. About 28 years old, unmarried, works in a travel agency. We sit at the same table, chatting. Daria is cheerful, open, jokes a lot. After the feast, we go out onto the balcony to smoke. She smokes. I'm just for company. We talk about life, about plans. She says that she is tired of a small town, wants to move to the regional center, find a better job. I offer. I can help with the search. I have connections. She is happy, really. It would be great. We exchange numbers. The next day she writes, "Max, let us meet and discuss work options." We meet in a cafe. We talk about vacancies, about companies, about salaries. Then we move on to personal topics. Daria admits that she has long wanted to leave, but was afraid. Now she has decided. I support. That's right. You have to change your life if you don't like it. She looks at me, says, "I like you, Max. Olga is lucky to have you." I grin. She doesn't think so. Daria shakes her head. She's a fool. Then we sit until the evening. Then I take her to the hotel where she is staying. She invites her to go up. We get up. Ninth. Last. In the morning I leave. Daria is sleeping. I kiss her forehead goodbye. That's at point 9. Revenge is complete. I'm going home with an empty feeling. I thought there would be triumph, satisfaction, but I only feel tired. What is next? I come home in the evening, tired as a dog. Olga is in the kitchen preparing dinner. The smell of fried meat and potatoes is almost the same as before. I say hello. She answers without enthusiasm. I ask what happened. She turns around, looks at me with a hard look, says, "Nothing. I'm just thinking." I don't insist. I go to the shower, wash off the day, the fatigue, the dirt. I stand under hot water, thinking about 9 women, about what I've done, about what will happen when Olga finds out. In 3 days, the detective will hand over the report. All the photographs, all the meetings, all the evidence. Olga will see and understand the scale of the betrayal. 9 friends, her whole circle. How will she react? Hysteria, tears, silence? I don't know. But for some reason, I don't want this moment as much as before. Revenge loses its taste when you realize that you ruined not only her life, but also your own. I get out of the shower, get dressed. Olga sets the table. We sit down, eat in silence. Only the sound of cutlery on plates. Then she suddenly asks, "Max, do you love me?" I freeze halfway with the fork. Look at her. I see hope, fear, despair in her eyes. I answer honestly, "I don't know. Oh well. I used to love. Now everything is mixed up." She nods, lowers her gaze. I see. We finish eating in silence. Then she gets up, collects the dishes, goes to the kitchen. I hear water pouring, plates clanking. I sit at the table, looking into emptiness. I think that in 3 days, everything will collapse. And I don't know what I want more, for her to find out or for everything to remain as it is. The next day, there is a major problem at the site. The customer, a shopping center, finally got in touch, but not for the purpose of to pay, but to inform. The company is bankrupt. There will be no money. I'm shocked. 3 months of work, materials, crew salaries. Everything is down the drain. More than 1,000,000 rubles in losses. I call a lawyer, find out what to do. He explains, you can sue, get in the queue of creditors, wait for bankruptcy. The chances of getting money are 20%. Damn. I go to the office, sit down at the computer, calculate the finances. Loans, debts to suppliers, salaries, taxes. Almost 800,000 are missing. This is not counting current expenses. Bankruptcy. My company is on the verge of bankruptcy. I built the business for 5 years. I invested all my strength, time, money. And here is the result. Because of one unscrupulous customer and my own revenge, everything goes to hell. The phone rings, Svetlana. I pick up the phone. She says excitedly, Max, you won't believe what happened. I met you today, Anna, in the shopping center. We were talking, and she accidentally mentioned that you had seen each other. I mentioned it too, and we understood. She falls silent. I wait. She continues quietly. We realized that you met with both of us. I'm silent. What do you say? Svetlana sighs. Max, how many of us are there? I answer honestly, 9. She says that Svetlana called her and told her that she guessed, but didn't want to believe, that I'm a bastard, and she's glad that she filed for divorce from her husband, because it's impossible to live with someone like me. She hangs up without saying goodbye. Then Marina, then Elena, then Natalia. One after another they call, scream, accuse, hang up. By the evening, only Anna, Irina, Ksenia are silent. Daria? But this is temporary. They will soon find out too. I'm going home with a heavy heart. Everything is collapsing. Business, relationships with women, reputation. Olga is sitting at home in the living room, watching TV. I see the screen is off. She is just looking at the black screen. I ask what happened. She turns around. Her face is tear-stained and says, Irina called me. She said that I need to know something, but she didn't say what exactly. She just asked to meet tomorrow, and she also said that I should call all my friends. I freeze. Irina knows, and she wants to arrange and expose in front of everyone. Olga continues, I'm organizing a bachelorette party tomorrow evening. Here at home. Irina said, this is important. Something about you. I look at her. I see fear in her eyes. She guesses, but doesn't know for sure. I say, maybe it's not necessary. She shakes her head. We must. I have to know the truth. I go into the living room, lie down on the sofa. Tomorrow it will all end. I can't sleep at night. I toss and turn. I think. I scroll through the options in my head. Leave, hide, confess myself before the bachelorette party. But in the end I decide, let it be as it will. I started it myself. I will accept the consequences. In the morning I get up early. Olga's still sleeping. I get ready, go to work. All day at the sites, meetings with customers, solving problems, trying to distract myself from thoughts about the evening. The bank calls. They remind me about an overdue loan payment. I promised to pay tomorrow. I'm lying. There is no money. The supplier of materials calls, demands payment, threatens to stop deliveries. I promised to solve it this week. I'm also lying. Everything goes into the abyss. I'm back by 6 in the evening home. Olga is already preparing for the bachelorette party. She sets the table, arranges glasses, cuts snacks, asks, are you staying? I answer, no, I'll leave. It's a bachelorette party. She nods. That's right. I change clothes, pack my things. I decide to spend the night in the office. I don't want to be here when everything explodes. I leave at 7. My friends start coming at 8. On the way to the office, I receive a message from Olga. They are all here. I imagine the picture. 9 women in our living room. Olga is among them, the hostess. Everyone is sitting, drinking wine, chatting, not yet suspecting anything. Olga is not knows, but Irina knows. And now she'll tell. I sit in the office, look at the phone, waiting. Half an hour later, Victoria calls. The voice is hysterical, screaming, yells, bastard Max. Did you know that she would gather us all? Did you do this on purpose? I don't understand what happened. She continues to shout. Irina told everyone, in front of everyone. Why did you sleep with each of us? Olga is shocked. We are all in shock. This is a nightmare. Hangs up. I'm sitting there, digesting the information. So, Irina told me. Everyone found out at the same time. And Olga too. The phone is ringing off the hook with calls. Anna, Marina, Elena, Svetlana, Natalia, Ksenia, Daria, all in turn. Who screams, who cries, who is silent and just hangs up. The last one to call is Irina. The voice is cold, calm. Says, I told everything, Max. How you seduced each of us. How you used us to take revenge on Olga. How Olga found out about everything. They know. Olga knows. Now figure it out for yourself. Hangs. I'm sitting in the dark office. Alone. The phone is silent. Everyone has already called. Everyone has spoken. Only Olga remains. She doesn't call. She doesn't write. She is silent. This is worse than any scream. I fall asleep on the sofa in the office in the morning. A heavy, anxious dream. I dream of the faces of women, Olga's tears, a destroyed world. I wake up from a knock on the door. The morning outside the window is bright. I look through the peephole. Olga? I open it. She enters silently, goes into the office, sits on a chair. I close the door, turn to her. She looks terrible. Her eyes are red, swollen. Her face is pale. Hair is disheveled. Clothes are wrinkled. Apparently, she didn't sleep at night. We are silent for a minute, 2, 3. She looks at the floor. I'm standing at the door. Then she raises her head, looks me in the eyes, says quietly, 9? All 9 of my friends. I don't answer. What can I say? She continues. Irina told in detail how you met with each one, where, when, how. She collected information from everyone. Compared, I got the full picture. I'm silent. She shakes her head. Do you know what is the worst thing? Not that you cheated, not that with 9 women, but the fact that these were my friends. All my friends. My entire circle. People I trusted, with whom I shared, whom I loved. Her voice trembles, breaks, continues. Now I can't look at any of them. They all saw you naked. They all slept in your arms. They all know what only she should have known about me. A tear rolls down my cheek. I sit opposite, look at her, feel how everything is shrinking inside. I see her so broken, devastated, hurt. Despite all the anger, all the revenge, she wipes away her tears, continues. But do you know what I understood yesterday when Irina was telling me, when everyone was sitting in silent in shock? I realized that it was my own fault. I look at her in surprise. She nods. Yes, myself. A year ago, I began to move away from you. Do you remember? I remember. Of course, I remember. Continues. I started having problems at work. A new salon director, conflicts, layoffs. I was nervous, lost my temper, came home like a squeezed lemon. And you tried to help, talk, support. I pushed you away, said that everything was fine, that I could handle it myself. Sighs. Then health problems began. Hormonal imbalance, the doctor said. Constant fatigue, headaches, mood swings. And the libido disappeared completely. I didn't want closeness. I didn't care. But I didn't explain it to you. I just refused. I pulled away. She looks at me with wine in her eyes. And you started to move away. You became colder. You worked more. You came home later. And I decided that you were cheating, that you had found someone else. I was angry. I was blaming you, nagging you, humiliating you. I brought you to this point. Dinner at my parents'. She falls silent, then quietly adds, I thought you were cheating with one woman. It turned out with 9, and all my friends. The irony of fate. I sit, listen. For the first time in a year, I understand her side. For the first time in a year, I see that she also suffered, was also tormented, was also mistaken. I say, I didn't know about your problems. Oh well. You didn't say? I thought you just fell out of love. She shakes her head. No, fell out of love. Tired. Got sick. Scared. But didn't stop loving. She gets up, comes closer, sits next to her on the sofa. Says, I want to understand. Why 9? Why are all my friends? Was this revenge for that word? I nod yes. For the impotent. I wanted to prove that this is not so. First to myself, then to you. And then I couldn't stop. She covers her face with her hands, shakes her head. God, what have we done? Both. I with words, you with actions. We destroyed everything. I sit next to her, hug her. She presses herself, cries into my shoulder. I stroke her hair like before. We sit for so long. Maybe half an hour, maybe an hour. We just sit, remain silent, hold on to each other. Then she pulls away, wipes away her tears, says, I need to go. Think. Decide what to do next. She gets up, goes to the door. On the threshold, she turns around, looks at me, says, I still love you, Max. Despite everything. But I don't know if we can go back after that. Leaves. I'm left alone in the office. I'm sitting on the couch, looking at the door through which she left. For the first time in 3 months, I don't feel anger, not the passion for revenge. I feel emptiness and regret. Olga is right. We're both to blame. It's that she didn't talk about problems. She pushed away, humiliated. It's that I didn't ask, didn't seek the truth, took the path of revenge instead of the path of understanding. And now reckoning. For both. The next days pass in a fog. Work, objects, meetings, everything is automatic. The financial situation is critical. The bank demands money. Suppliers refuse to work without prepayment. Crews are threatening to go on strike. I'm trying to negotiate with the bank on restructuring the debt. They agree, but at extortionate interest rates. I have no choice, I sign. I'm selling the car, an old one, on the market. I need money. I get $300,000 right away done on paying off debts. Now I go by bus. It's humiliating after 5 years in my car, but what can I do? Olga doesn't call or write. I'm also silent. I give her time to think, although I understand that the decision has already been made. Divorce is inevitable. Her friends are also silent. 9 women with whom I was close disappeared from my life, as if they had never existed. I'm deleting the numbers one by one. I don't want to see names that remind me of what happened. I heard from mutual friends. Victoria got divorced, moved out from her husband, lives alone, lost a lot of weight, had problems at work. Svetlana closed the store, could not stand the financial crisis, left for another city. Irina divorced the deputy. The scandal was loud. He found out about our relationship, created a scene. Now she is alone, without money, without status. I don't know the rest. I'm not interested. I don't want to know. My revenge destroyed not only my life and Olga's life, it destroyed the lives of 9 women. 9 people who were simply looking for attention, warmth, understanding, and I used them. I am a rare egoist. Olga was right then in the cafe. 2 weeks after that conversation in the office, Olga comes home. I spent the night there because it was cold in the office. The heating was turned off for non-payment. She comes in, puts a folder on the table, says, divorce documents. Sign. I open it, a standard form. Division of property. The apartment is for me. She doesn't have anything takes. No obligations, no children. I look at her. Are you sure? She nods. Yes. We can't be together after this. Too much pain, too much destruction. I take the pen, sign without hesitation. She's right. Olga takes the documents, goes to the door. She stops at the threshold, turns around, looks at me for a long time, then says quietly, You know, Max, you proved that you are not impotent. Congratulations. But you lost much more than you proved. Pause, then adds, and I'm also pregnant. And this is your child, betrayed. I really can't. I remember that pregnancy test in the bathroom a month ago. She then said that it was a false alarm. She lied. She already knew, but was silent. She waited for the moment. And she chose the most cruel one, when I signed the divorce papers. When it was all over. That's when she said, revenge. Or she just wanted me to know, to live with this. I take out the phone, dial her number. She hangs up. I write a message. We need to talk. She doesn't answer. I also write, OL, please, this is important. 10 minutes later, the answer comes. There's nothing to talk about. I'll give birth to the child myself. I'll raise it myself. You don't need me, neither him. I reread. Anger rises from somewhere breasts. I write, this is my child too. I have the right. She replies, what right? You betrayed me with 9 of my friends. You ruined my life. What right do you have to anything? I don't know what to answer. Because yes, right. I don't have the right. I lost him the moment I decided to take revenge. But this is my child. My blood. I can't just step aside. I want to participate in his life. I want to be a father. Long pause. Then, we'll see. While I need time. Don't write, don't call. When I'm ready to talk, I'll come out myself. Connection. The price of revenge. Olga talked about this. He proved that he is not impotent, but has lost everything else. The next weeks pass in the struggle for the survival of the business. Restructuring debts, searching for new customers, trying to come to an agreement with suppliers. Manages to somehow stay afloat. 2 small orders, renovation of apartments, participants. The money is small, but at least something. The team had to be reduced. He left only 1 foreman and 2 workers. He let the rest go. It was painful, but there was no choice. I also had to change the office. I found a smaller and cheaper place on the outskirts. The move took 2 days. I carried the boxes myself, saving on movers. The apartment is empty. Olga took her things while I was gone. She left only the furniture and equipment. In the bedroom, half the closet is empty. There are no her cosmetics in the bathroom. There is no her mug in the kitchen. It's a strange feeling to live in a place where before there were 2, but now there is 1. Sometimes I catch myself cooking for 2, or I turn on her favorite TV series out of habit, or I wait for her to come home from work. But she doesn't come. She left. Forever. A month after signing the divorce papers, Olga's mother calls. The voice is cold, official. She says, "Maxim, Olga asked me to tell you. She's in her 3rd month. Everything is fine. She's being monitored by doctor. If you want to participate financially, you can transfer money to her account. You don't need anything else." I ask, "Can I see her?" The mother replies, "She doesn't want to see you. For now, maybe later." She hangs up. I'm sitting, thinking, the 3rd month. So, she got pregnant somewhere at the very beginning of this whole story. Before revenge, before friends. When we were still trying to get closer. The irony of fate. She wanted a child. I once wanted it too. And it turned out like this. I start transferring money every month. A little. The business is barely breathing. But regularly. On the card that her mother gave. Olga doesn't think. Doesn't write. She's silent. I'm silent too. I'm waiting. When will she be ready to talk? Another month passes. Business is slowly recovering. I found a new large customer. A chain of stores. Repair of several premises. Good money, stable work. I'm taking 2 more people into the team. I'm buying materials. We work from morning to evening. It saves. Work distracts from thoughts about Olga, about the child, about what he has done. One evening, returning from the site, I see a familiar figure at the entrance. Olga, sitting on a bench, wrapped in a coat. My stomach is already noticeable. I come up and say hello. She nods, hello. I sit down next to her. We are silent. Then she says, I thought for a long time. About the child, about what will happen next. And I realize that we need to talk for real. No quarrels, no offense. Just talk. I nod. I agree. She sighs. Come to me. It's cold here. Let us go to her. She rents an apartment in a residential area. A small 1-room apartment, a modest atmosphere. We go in. She takes off her coat, puts the kettle on. I sit down at the table, look at her. She has changed. Not only externally, her belly, her rounded face, but also internally. She has become calmer, softer, or she is just tired of everything. She pours tea, sits down opposite, says, I want you to know, I'm not going to deprive you of your child. You, his father, you have the right to communicate. But there are conditions. I listen carefully. She continues, first, no attempts to bring me back. We are divorced. Everything is over between us. Second, no women with the child. If you get someone seriously, you will introduce me first, then him. Third, regular payments and participation in upbringing. Not just money, but real participation. I nod. I agree. I agree to everything. She looks me in the eyes and says, Max, I forgave you. Not right away. It took me a long time to get to this point. But I realized that holding a grudge means poisoning yourself and the child. I don't want our son or daughter to grow up in an atmosphere of hatred. I feel a lump rolling up to my throat. I say, thank you, OL. I didn't deserve this forgiveness, but thank you. She shakes her head. I deserve it. Because admitted guilt. Because you are transferring money not for show. Because you have come now not to demand, but to listen. We drink tea in silence. Then she talks about pregnancy, how she feels, about plans for childbirth. I listen, ask questions, remember everything. In the end, she says, you know, I met my ex-girlfriends the other day, by chance in a shopping center. We talked. Not all of them, only 3. Anna, Victoria, and Svetlana. Insults. Weak. Let's go for an ultrasound together, find out the gender. I agree. We'll definitely come. We hug goodbye, not as husband and wife, as parents of an unborn child. I'm leaving with a light heart. For the first time in 4 months, I feel that not everything is lost, that there is a chance for redemption. Not with Olga. This relationship is dead, will not be resurrected. But with the child, with a new life that will appear thanks to us 12. Maybe this is the real reckoning. Not a divorce, not financial problems, not a ruined reputation, but the need to be the father of a child from a woman whom he betrayed. To be close, to help, to participate, and at the same time knowing that you will never be with her. This is more difficult than revenge. Much more difficult, but I can handle it. I have to cope, for the sake of the child. 6 months have passed since that conversation in Olga's apartment. 6 months of new life. Strange, unusual, but life. Business has recovered. Not to the previous level, but stable. 3 teams work on a permanent basis. There are enough orders. Almost paid off the debts. Closed the loan. Even moved the office to the center. Found premises at a reasonable price. We see Olga regularly, once a week at least. We went together for an ultrasound. It's a boy, we found out. She chooses a name, consults with me. I offer options. She shakes her head or agrees. We settled on Artyom. A good name. Strong. I help with preparations for childbirth. I bought a stroller, a crib, clothes. I transfer money regularly. More than before, the business allows it. Olga accepted the help without objection. She says that everything will go to the child. She herself needs almost nothing. She has changed a lot. She has become calmer, wiser, or something. Pregnancy has softened her, or simply time has healed the wounds. We are not talking about the past, about 9 friends, about revenge, about that story. This is a closed topic. We are watching forward, for the child, for the future. Sometimes I meet Olga's ex-girlfriends on the street. Victoria once got caught in a shopping center. They nodded to each other, parted ways. Awkwardly, but without anger. Anna wrote a month ago. She apologized for everything, said that she forgave me. She even thanked me. She says that those events forced her to reconsider her life, pay more attention to the children and herself. Irina left for another city. I heard that she left married again, to an ordinary guy, not a deputy. Happy, it seems. I haven't seen or heard about the others, and I don't want to. Let them live their own lives. Me, mine. Today is a special day. Olga is giving birth. I called in the morning, said that contractions had started. I went to the maternity hospital with my mother. I was at work. I dropped everything, went there. I'm sitting now in the corridor of the maternity hospital, waiting. Olga's mother next to her, silent, fingering her rosary. Our relationship is not strained. She hasn't fully forgiven, but endures for the sake of her grandson. 3 hours have passed. The doctors are silent. The doors are closed. I'm nervous, walking back and forth along the corridor. Olga's mother says, "Sit down. Maxim, you're flickering." I sit down. I take out my phone, leaf through the news. I don't read. I just scroll through. Another hour passes. Then the doors open, the doctor comes out and says, "Congratulations, you have a son. 3 kilograms, 800. Mom and baby are fine." I get up, feel my legs giving way. "Son, my son was born." The doctor continues, "You can come in half an hour when we transfer you to the ward." "Thank you," I sit back down. Olga's mother cries quietly, joyfully. I sit, look at the floor, digest the information. Father. I'm a father now. Half an hour later, they let me inward. Olga lies on the bed, pale, tired, but happy. Nearby in the crib, there is a bundle. Our son. I come up and look. A small red face, closed eyes, tiny hands. She breathes quietly, evenly. Olga whispers, "Hello, Dad." "Me, this is Artyom." I take him carefully in my arms. So light, warm, alive. I look at him and understand. This is it. This is what it all was for. For this moment. Not for revenge, not for proof. For this little man who was born, despite all our mistakes. Olga looks at me, smiles weakly, says, "You will be a good father, Max." I know. I nod. I can't speak. There's a lump in my throat. I sit with them for an hour. Then the nurse comes and says that Mom needs to rest. I hand Artyom to Olga. I kiss her on the forehead. I say, "Thank you." She replies, "You're welcome. This is our son. Come in." I leave the room. Olga's mother comes in after me. We stand in the corridor. She looks at me, then suddenly hugs me, says, "You've done a lot of bad things, Maxim, but now you have a chance to improve. Don't miss it." I hug her back. "I'll miss you. I promise." I'm going home late in the evening. The apartment is empty, quiet. But now it's empty in a different way. Not lonely, but temporarily empty. Because somewhere else there is my son, little Artyom, and I will be a part of his life. Not as I once planned, not in a complete family, not with my beloved wife. But I will be a father. I sit on the sofa, take out my phone, look at the photo that made in the maternity hospital. Olga with Artyom in her arms, tired but happy. And then I remember that evening, a family dinner with her parents. The word impotent thrown in my face. Resentment, anger, desire for revenge. 9 women after that. 9 ruined lives, including mine and all Gina's. And here is the result. I proved that I am not impotent. I have a son, but I paid for this proof with everything. Marriage, reputation, money, peace of mind. Olga was right then in the apartment. He proved it, but lost more than he proved. Only now I understand. Revenge is not a victory. It is a defeat. Both sides. All sides. I get up, go out onto the balcony. I look at the city at night. Somewhere out there Olga is sleeping in the maternity hospital with our son. Somewhere out there 9 women live their lives, trying to forget this story. And here I am, alone, with the understanding of what I have done, with regret, with the hope of redemption through my son. Impotent, she said. No, not impotent, but not either winner. Just a man who made a huge mistake and is now paying, and will pay for the rest of his life. Every time, looking at Olga, I will know that it could have been different. Every time, looking at my son, I will understand that he is growing up in an incomplete family because of my revenge. But I can handle it. Because I have to. Because now I have someone for the sake of. I take out my phone, write to Olga. Thank you for my son, and I will do everything so that he is proud of me. I promise. She doesn't answer. She is probably asleep. But I know what she'll read in the morning, and I know that I'll keep my promise. No matter what, I go to bed with this thought, with the understanding that there is a long way ahead. The path of a father who destroyed the past, but is building a future. Not for himself, for his son, for Artyom. Revenge is complete. Reckoning has begun, and it will last a lifetime. But you know what? I accept this, because the price of revenge is not only what you lose, it's also what you have to live with further. And I will live with the memory of 9 women, with a broken marriage, with a son from my ex-wife. They called me impotent. He proved the opposite. But at what cost?